Sweet, beautiful souls. Hello, welcome back to plant medicine or to not plant medicine. That is the question that we are diving into today. And this episode is really inspired by, first of all, everyone's desire and curiosity for those who have not done it, or even if you have done it and are considering doing it again, really this question that entertains a lot of people in the back of their mind: should I do plant medicine? Or if you have not ever done plant medicine, this is going to be a resource for you. Now, this is also inspired by looking back at my memories and seeing that it was just 3 years ago that I did ayahuasca for the first time. And it was a few months prior to that I had done psilocybin mushrooms for the first time. So I really wanted to provide, because this is what I did not find at the beginning when I was seeking to do this, and still do not really see out there, is a resource for people that is neutral. I find everyone has opinions, which we are human beings, that is normal. But everyone that I have seen from my experience has been either very pro plant medicine or very anti plant medicine, or, those people who share their experience about plant medicine. It's like it changed their life. And they share in this way that is just like, it was so profound. And so then when someone hears that story who is seeking and searching for answers, they're like, well, maybe that is the answer and solution for me. Now, one thing I will also preface with is plants have consciousness. Everything has consciousness. Everything has consciousness. This sweet baby has consciousness. These rocks have consciousness. This crystal has consciousness. This table has consciousness. Everything has a consciousness. Plants, though, they are part of the second realm and they have a consciousness. And so they have the ability to communicate with us, to invite us into their transformation. So I want to really begin this by setting the stage with, if you receive a call, then plant medicine is something to begin to explore and open up to the potential possibility of. It doesn't mean you have to do it, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that the plant is inviting you. So what does an invitation look like? An invitation is when you start to feel like this thing is following me everywhere. I'm walking down the street and people are talking about this. I'm at a restaurant and I hear people talking about this. I open my podcast app and there is, oh my gosh, so-and-so's plant medicine journey experience. And then I open my emails and it's like, oh my gosh, someone talking about mushrooms or ayahuasca or iboga or, all of these things. This is what an invitation looks like. And it's not just one, it's not just two, it's not just three. It's like you're seeing it everywhere. And this is really what happened for me back in, wow. Now that I think about this, I'm like, wow, this was actually a very long time ago, because it was back in 2019 when I first started receiving the call. And I first started receiving the call for ayahuasca. I originally heard about the place in Costa Rica. Well, I guess there's multiple places now, but there was one place in Costa Rica that I had heard about. I had heard them on podcasts, and I just was feeling like, if I'm going to do this, I really want to go to Costa Rica and have this experience. And it was like, it was pretty wild, because for me, it was like 30 times it came into like my periphery, my awareness within 1 week. Like, this is what I mean. Like, you'll get the call. Like, it will be, it won't just be like, maybe, I don't know. It's like, no, the plant is very clearly inviting you. What happens if you're not invited and you do it? this can go a few ways. And this isn't like 100%, but this is where I believe a lot of people have the bad experiences. This is where I believe a lot of people have the experiences that are like, that was not good. That was like terrible. That was so challenging, like too challenging. And now, well, the plant will always give you what you need if they didn't invite you. It's like going over to, I mean, they even call like ayahuasca like grandmother ayahuasca. If you go to grandma's house and grandma didn't invite you, well, grandma's not gonna make you cookies. She's not gonna be like have that like warm, inviting like grandma's house. She's gonna be like, son, daughter, you were not invited here. And I'm going to like maybe teach you a lesson about that. So you will still receive something, but it might not be the something that you hoped or intended for, right? So for me, it was like, oh my goodness, I was receiving the call. So like 30 times in a week. I was like, okay. And at the time, you guys, this was like very terrifying for me. Like just the thought of taking something that, so I'm just gonna share, like I had really, really, really intense control issues, like very intense. So something that would put me out of control freaked me out. Like I did not want to. I was like, I wanted really big transformation. I wanted to heal a lot of the things that I was dealing with my health back then and my life and just all of these things. I was really like seeking guidance and answers, and I felt a bit lost in some regard. But the thought of doing something that would make me purge and out of control felt like very overwhelming to me at the time. And so I kind of just put it off. Well, I said if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And then we all know what happened at the end of 2019, 2020. I was like, okay, well, I'm clearly not going to Costa Rica anymore. And so I was just like, I kind of was like, phew, like, don't have to entertain that one anymore. Well, little did I know that you can do plant medicine not in the jungle. You can do it right in your own state. And, you know, there's pros and cons to this. This is why I think we're living in a very fascinating time where people who should not be practicing plant medicine are practicing plant medicine. So as I'm sharing about all of these things, I really just want you to feel into the energies, because I'm going to be giving you pros and I'm going to be giving you cons, and I'm going to be giving you more pros and I'm going to be giving you more cons, and really feel like what your heart is telling you through this. So as I'm looking out and seeing that, as I'm hearing other people's experiences, I'm like, wow, like there are people I've heard about it a lot in California, like facilitating these experiences with any type of plant medicine, combo, iboga, psilocybin, ayahuasca, um, DMT, bufo, like doing these ceremonies with people who really like shouldn't be opening the portal and holding the space for this. So something I didn't know at the time of doing ayahuasca and mushrooms, and before I get into that, I want to also say I have not done ayahuasca since. I haven't done ayahuasca since. I did it 3 years ago, and it was so transformative for me. I have not received a call ever since. I'm literally still working through those lessons. When I see these people who like do ayahuasca like 4 times a year or more, I am like my jaw drops. I'm like, how on earth? This is their experience, because as I'm saying that, I'm like, that's my judgment. That is my perception and my judgment, because I personally could absolutely never do that. I never, my body physically and my consciousness, I don't think I could integrate all of that. And I don't think I could actually like hold all of that energy in my body. This is where, if you're very sensitive, like it's wow, that experience for me, it blasts your crown open. So what I didn't realize is your crown is like open for like a week afterwards or two. And that takes a lot. It takes a lot of prep. It takes a lot of integration. And so we really have to factor these in. So if you don't have the time to prep and if you don't have the time to do the integration, don't do it because it takes a lot more than I thought. Not only time, but energy, like life force energy to go through this. Like it's literally like running a marathon in your mind. Okay. And so I did not realize that. And I have not, like I said, received the call ever since. I literally am still integrating the lessons. And I found it was actually really beautiful because I did mushrooms for the first time. A few months earlier, I did a full, like, full, full dose. And I did it with someone who held space for me. It was a healer that I was seeing at the time. And it was just really beautiful. Just me, her, and her partner. And it was like I felt so held, so cared for. So just like I could really go into the depths, which like for me is not an easy thing to do. And that mushroom experience was really incredible. It totally changed my life still to this day. Like I said, I'm still integrating those lessons. And so then when a few months later I did ayahuasca, it was honestly like part two to the mushroom journey. And some of those lessons and teachings and learnings and realizations and the things that came through were really what I have been integrating and dedicating myself to in my healing and in my journey over the past few years. And it was really a lot about coming into my body, coming into this vessel. I didn't realize how the first thing that I saw when I did mushrooms was that I was literally outside of my body. I was viewing myself, viewing my body. And I saw like that I just got so emotional because I said, "Oh my gosh, like I left her. I left this body." And it was because the world felt like too much. The world felt like too much for me that I I wasn't fully in my body. And so like I mentioned and shared, like then when I did ayahuasca, it was all of those lessons in other ways to show me because I like the first night I was in everyone else's experience and I was like feeling everything but myself. And so then the next night it was so wild because the next night doing ayahuasca, people have these stories about like how difficult and hard it was. And this is where when you are invited to the medicine, you'll know because I've been a hypnotherapist. I have been deep in this realm of traversing our unconscious thoughts. I'm a Scorpio. You better believe I am open and available to go to the depths of the depths of the depths. And so when I do ayahuasca, I'm thinking I'm going to go to the depths of the depths of the depths. And you want to know what? That second night, I am laughing. I'm laughing hysterically. I can't stop laughing. And Mother Ayahuasca was telling me, you need more joy. You need more levity. And really, there's opportunity then to come into the body once more. So, as I had those experiences, I then found that those energies were imprinted upon my body and in my being. And so now I no longer need the physical substance to tap into that awareness. And that this is my experience. This is not everyone's. because my experience is that I no longer feel I need the physical substance to have the realization. Now I can go into the forest, I could go to the ocean, and I will have just as deep of realizations and awarenesses and transformations as I do on ayahuasca or mushrooms. Now, those are the two medicines that called me. I have not been called to any of the others. Actually, I take that back. I have had some call to combo, which is very odd for me because it would definitely push me and my growth edge because that we mentioned about the control thing that just sounds not great. But it hasn't felt like a full body, like here's the thing too. If you're meant to do it, the no, like I shared, you will receive the invitation and it will feel effortless to set it all up. You will not have to do anything. Both of my circumstances, it literally hardly lifted a finger. Like they found me and everything arranged for me. Like I could not even believe it. I did both in my own state. One of them, like mushrooms, I did at, like I said, the healer I was seeing at the time. I did it at her home, which was so incredible. And then the other woman that I did it with, she got this Airbnb in the wine country and she was very, very psychic and intuitive. And she like knew how sensitive I was. And she gave me like the little carriage house outside. Like everyone's, there was like 8 of us and the majority of everyone else slept inside the home. And I got like the little carriage house outside because she was like, wow, you are very sensitive. I'm gonna give you this little place. And so it's like, yes, I am very sensitive. So I didn't have to seek them out. They found me. So this is another way that you will know you don't have to seek for these things. Like if you're finding like roadblocks or like, why is this feeling so difficult to find and do and like arrange this? It's not meant to be. Now, what I do find, and so this is what happened for me, perhaps they're planting the seed. So like I said, I got the seed planted in 2019 and then I didn't do it until 2021. So this was 2 years, 2 years later, right? So like perhaps you're receiving the call, but not yet. It's like they're planting, the plant medicine is planting that seed within you to begin to prepare your vessel and prepare your body. Okay. So now I want to dive into what I didn't know at the time about plant medicine. And unfortunately, I don't see people talking about. Don't see people talking about this, and it's a problem. And I had no idea. I had no idea. And whether, I don't know whether this transpired for me or not, but there is the opportunity, high opportunity when doing plant medicine. You're opening yourself up. You are opening up your consciousness. You're opening up to this realm of infinite awareness, which infinite awareness can bring through infinite love. And it can bring the opposite of love. It can bring through darkness. It can open up to dark forces, to entities, to evil spirits, whatever you want to call it. This is very possible and very probable. Now, I can't tell you you're going to get an entity or a dark force or anything from doing ayahuasca or mushrooms or combo or peyote. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that it creates that opening. It creates that portal. That portal is open. And so this is why it is so important that if you are going to do plant medicine, you feel very connected with the person who is facilitating. You feel like the environment is very safe and conducive. You feel like you are going to be protected, and that the person who is facilitating has awareness of this, has knowledge of this, has tools and protection in place for you, for the group, right? Because I mean, like I said, I don't know. I haven't gone in to look and see, if any of this transpired for me. But I know that this does happen, unfortunately, to a lot of people because, like I said, when we open up ourselves to infinite love also opens us up to infinite not love. Okay. So this is something I really want to just bring into your awareness and I want you to have on your radar, because this is like going camping without like not knowing where you're going. Like just having like a tent, but no like rain cover, no thing to make fire, like you're not fully protected, right? Or like just having a sleeping bag, but no tent. It's like, no, you need the full thing. If you're going camping, you need to have the tent, you need to have the firewood, you need to have matches, and like you need to have protection. You're not just going to go into the wilderness and just say, God help me, just God protect me. Like you wouldn't do that. And so this is the same thing with plant medicine. Like you want to be equipped. And this is actually one thing that I did not. And like I said, I wasn't aware of this at the time. It was actually probably good because I get a bit worried about sometimes things like that. And I feel I was protected. However, I have been increasing my awareness a lot more about dark forces and entities. And while I've always known that they existed, I was not aware to the capacity and the vast how prevalent it is. And I think a lot of people are getting them from plant medicine. So this is not to say that you shouldn't do plant medicine, because here's the thing, if you're receiving the call, it is for a reason and it can provide you with incredible transformation. And like also, for example, like after I did mushrooms, I just like I felt such resonance with the mushrooms. I did microdosing for like quite some time. And that's like honestly something I'm still open to doing and working with. Like I feel such an affinity and like a rather connection to mushrooms that it just feels like microdosing for me feels very light and easy and good. But like I said, even that I wait for an invitation. If I don't feel the invitation, even to just microdose, I don't. Right? It's not like I think a lot of people are seeking the highs and seeking like the transformations and seeking the growth, but really it's like the growth comes from the integration, from the everyday mundane. Richard Rudd will talk about this in Gene Keys. He's like, those are your biggest, like that's the training ground, not when you're at the ayahuasca retreat. It's how are you incorporating it into your daily life? How are you weaving that energy into your everyday, right? It's not that we can all sign up and go to a big experience, but are you going to bring that energy into your everyday? And this is really where the challenging part is. Right. So, if you do receive the call, though, like, my gosh, like I said, those lessons, they were so pivotal for me. They opened me up. And for me, it was like a huge opportunity to face my fears. And like, it was so good for me. I really feel like a quantum leaped after that, because I had such transformations that, like I said, are still unraveling. I'm still integrating and learning. Now, could doing it again help me learn it faster and better and more? Like, perhaps. But like I said, also, like I can get to those states, I feel like, and have those awarenesses literally driving to the coast. Like that is like such a wild meditation for me when I do that. And so I think it's about utilizing the medicine when it's meant to be utilized and having very deep respect for it if you're not meant to, because not everyone, I believe, is meant to. And really vetting who you're going to do it with, the space, the environment, the people, it's all important. It's really all important. And that you feel safe and cared for. And that's what's most important. So I really pray that this is meant to be a balanced, like it is not good or bad or right or wrong. It just is. Plant medicine just is. It is. It has equal pros and equal cons. It really truly does. Like we have been talking about all things law of balance, and it's just this is like another confirmation of that there are equal pros and cons to you doing it as well. So, and equal pros and cons to you not doing it. So I'm happy to also like connect with anyone about this because I know it can be such a big decision. And yeah, I feel like having someone to reflect back to you what your soul is communicating with you about this is really supportive and really helpful. So just reach out to me if you're finding you're in that situation and circumstance. And with that, if you want to connect with your angels and guides and ask your soul by yourself and ask for the divine guidance and really learn to understand your body and what it's showing you and telling you in regards to making decisions like this is where the miracle frequency is going to come into effect and really going to support you in working with your angels and guides, working with your intuition, and putting you in that frequency of knowing exactly what to do because you have all the answers within you. You know what to do, and plant medicine is just going to honestly bring forth what's within you. So take the first step in getting to know what your body and your soul are telling you. So the details for miracle frequency are going to be below. This will help you do this and walk and live in this energy. And if you need help and deeper support, just reach out. And with that, I'm just sending you all infinite love and light.